Their team total is 19.5 wins. I told you to go under, and it's by far the best bet I have recommended on this network in 4 years. They can't get out of their own way. And now Sloot is out for the year. Let's hope Sloot gets back, because I respect the hell out of Sloot, and I want her to go out on her own terms. Hopefully we'll have her back for the 26th season.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Foul him! Ralph!
Ready?
Jacob! Yes! Oh! It was never in doubt! It was never in doubt! Oh, there's points falling out of my eyeballs! Oh, James Johnson to the chin! Everybody gets home!
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It's in-game live game day on this terrific Thursday evening. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, and as we say, betting on the world of sports. NBA last night, NHL this night. Game 4, Stanley Cup Finals, as Florida tries to take a 3-1 lead. Don't want to jinx that. We got baseball as well, few baseball games, and then we'll take a peek at Game 4 of the NBA playoffs. Do a little bragging. Thank you very much. SGPs, no, but we have Black Clouds, and we do have 5 on the line as we have a limited schedule. So there was no games, actually, that we could throw an SGP in there. But we'll get the 5 on the line, believe it or not, and we will have a Black Cloud coming up here shortly. So with that, my partner in crime for the next 2 hours, Mr. Sharapan. What's going on, Dave? How are you tonight?
Good, man. Great to see you. Yeah, we'll get to, like the kids say, getting you your flowers and all your recognition for making that call last night. You came on in-game live game day right here on SportsGrid and told the world that the Pacers were going to win. Not only did they win, they controlled the game in the fourth quarter. The bench was great. Everything happened almost exactly as you said it. Worked out really good for the plays that we gave out. So that was good. Tonight, hockey. There's a couple baseball games. I'm wearing the Cubs stuff because they're playing the Pirates. We'll see how that game goes. Do you feel as strongly tonight about the hockey as you did about the basketball last night?
No, okay. I liked the Pacers last night. Tonight, I'm leaning towards Florida, but the betting guy says it's Edmonton. Perfect zigzag bounce back spot, right? You lose like they lost, you get embarrassed, trashed, and this is just the perfect bounce back spot. But then there is a part of me that says it is Stuart Skinner, and he's given up 11 goals now in the last 2 games. And so it's kind of like, you wonder how long the leash is, and now we're back to the old Stuart Skinner. I like Florida anyway, so it's kind of a hedge 50-50. Same thing with the goals. I like the under last game, and unfortunately we had a late goal there to make it go over. So now I'm back on the over, but it's kind of like I hate going against because the same things I was thinking, last year, 3 out of the 4 games in Florida were unders. It should be a competitive game. So long story short, no. I don't like it as much. It's more of a rooting interest today, whereas last night I really did like the Indiana. And I love the over Indiana total. And last night's a great example. Unfortunately, with our SGP, it didn't hit because they didn't allow, for whatever reason, FanDuel doesn't put the team totals in the same game parlay category. It only puts the game total. So I really love the Indiana team total more than I did the game total. And lo and behold, the Indiana total hits, but the game total does not. They failed to get a couple of buckets late in the game. So what about you? What do you like tonight, hockey-wise?
Well, before we get to 5 on the line, I'll just tell you real quick.
Yeah.
I like Florida again. I really, really liked Florida in Game 3. It worked out great. I think they win again tonight. But I think this is the game that goes under, total-wise. So, we had 3 games, 3 overs. It's a game that goes under. I said last game 5-1 was going to be the final, somewhere in that neighborhood. I feel like the same thing. 4-2 or 5-1 tonight. Game falls with 6, and Florida gets one step closer to the cup. We got to get one step closer to this 5 on the line.
Yep, time for our 5 best trends for this evening. 5 on the line. All right, we don't have that many games, but we did find 5 trends that you may like. And keep in mind, we're 171 up and 118 down, so figure it out. 53 games over 500. First up, Pittsburgh, 6th worst strikeout team if you just go by how many strikeouts they've had in all of baseball. Jameson Taillon, his number's 4.5. He's had 5 strikeouts or more in 7 of his last 12 starts, 4-2 at home. Not great. But you throw that in with the Pittsburgh being the 6th worst strikeout team, and they're only giving you 4.5. So you know where we're going to go? Over 4.5 strikeouts, Taillon for the Chicago Cubs.
I like that one. I'm dressed in the Cubs stuff. Don't tell all my friends in Pittsburgh. It's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me, but I'll be surprised if he doesn't get at least into the 6th and get the K prop. What's number 4?
All right, number 4, you get a better price right now. The game is underway. Stankies versus Kansas City. We told you last night, Yanks winning again. They're 5-0 versus Kansas City this year. And more importantly, you see it there, 51-18. Their last 69 games against the Royals. It is in the 2nd inning, but there's no score. And the Yankees and Royals are actually pick 'em right now. So Yankees, the play against the Kansas City Royals. Why not?
The Royals are last in the majors in both runs scored and home runs since May 10th. Well, that's not even going to be able to help them with Judge out of the lineup, right? It's his first start or non-start of the season. He's sitting. Still like the Yankees. You're good. What's number 3?
Number 3, back to Cubs and Pirates. Cubbies 10-2 their last 12 home games, while Pittsburgh 4-13 their last 17 road games. Put them together, and we're going to lay the 2-1 with the Chicago Cubs at home tonight.
Yeah, 20 out of 31 this season. So 20-11 at home for the Cubs on the whole season. Can't find too many positive statistics or trends tonight for the Pirates. So pile on. Cubs money line. What's number 2?
All right, number 2 as we go down from 5 to 1. White Sox 7-27 on the road this season. 7-27. Astros throw in 19-7 their last 26 home games against the White Sox. So again, put it in a parlay if you have to. I'd rather give you a winner that you don't use than a loser that you do. Astros minus the 255 against the White Sox.
So many good things to talk about here if you like the Astros. One of them is this. In his last 6 starts, all quality starts, Valdez is 5-0 with a 1.84 ERA. That's only 9 earned in 44 innings pitched. That's against the White Sox. Go Houston. What's number 1?
Number 1, the creme de la creme, coup de grace. We've given you this one before. Time for our best trend 5 on the line. As the saying goes, don't fix it if it's not broke. Florida and Edmonton now, games 19-16 have had 6 goals or more. 16-3. You can get over 5.5 in some places. You may have to go to adjusted line. It's only minus 158. It might even be cheaper than that because the over keeps on going bigger for vig-wise over 6.5. So, but our play, since that 16-3 pertains to getting 6 goals, over 5.5, little juice, -155 or so, Edmonton and Florida.
Telling you, this one's going to be close. I don't know. I feel like hopefully if Bob doesn't get a shutout, this should win. But that looks like a pretty good list right there, Scott.
All right, let us throw in our Black Cloud play of the day if we can, because this is going to be a game that's going to be underway by the time we get back from the break. All right, the trends are just the trends. This is what we really, really like, and that is, Dave, over 26.5 saves. Bobrovsky, I think Edmonton's going to come out flying. He's hit this number easily the first 3 games. Now you got the Oilers down 2-1, play like crap in game 3. I think they come out flying. I don't know if they score goals, but I'd be very surprised if Bobrovsky doesn't get 27 saves, as he's gotten, like I said, the last 3 games.
Does that count overtime or no?
No overtime. No overtime on that.
All right. Let's get
so it's got to be. Yeah, we'll get there. All right, George Kurtz Hockey Talk coming up next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1. Just got done with the Black Cloud. Let me recap this real quickly before we bring in George Kurtz. Black Cloud play of the day, Bobrovsky over 26.5 saves. We expect Edmonton to come out flying, not necessarily win or even score goals, but get shots on goals like they've done the first 3 games. Our 5 on the line in order, over 4.5 Ks tie-on for the Cubs. Yankees -152, which is really pick 'em right now. Cubs minus 2-1 against Pittsburgh. Astros lay the big wood minus 255 against the White Sox. And then over 5.5 minus 150 and change, Florida and the Edmonton Oilers, who dropped the first puck in just a couple of moments. So with that, let us bring in our first guest of the evening, talk a little pucks, a little baseball with our good buddy George Kurtz, SportsGrid radio and TV host. You see it here all the time on the grid. George, game 4 tonight. Florida leading it 2-1. Will it be 3-1 or 2-2 after tonight?
Well, I know what I'm hoping it'll be, right? I'm certainly hoping it'll be 2-2. Yeah. All right, so I'm on Edmonton tonight. Listen, I told you guys earlier in the week that whoever lost game 3, I was going to bet game 4.
Yep.
My original plan was to bet it heavier, but I did not like what I saw from Edmonton on game 3. It's not that they lost 5-2, 6-2, whatever it was. It's they didn't play well. I mean, they played to get a pound of flesh. They wanted to match Florida's nastiness the other game they played. They didn't play hockey, right? From the first period, I forget the third period, the game was over. Even in the first period, they were playing stupid hockey. So I certainly didn't like that. Skinner's given up, 13, 14 goals in 3 games here, so he's not playing well. I know his game 4 stats are out of this world, all right? I get it here. And I probably wouldn't have changed goaltenders either, but I'm worried about his confidence too. All right, so there's a lot to worry about Edmonton here. That being said, you guys know I want Edmonton to win in 6. Don't probably see that happening now, but I'm going to stick with them. I did bet them again tonight, but I probably left off a couple of I probably didn't bet it as heavy as I planned to at one time.
George, there's so many things to talk about when you get to this point in the series. And, between Conn Smythe and the goalie situation, this and that. Are you watching this in Florida and going, boy, the ice is really starting to affect the game? Like, I think it had an effect last game. It's choppy. It's really hard to complete passes. It actually feels like a slow ice, all of which is negative for the Oilers. Is the ice a concern for you?
Now, if you're a conspiracy theorist, it's not like Florida's going, hey, buddy, make sure that ice is really good tonight, right? They ain't doing that. They want the choppy ice here. Remember back in the day in baseball, guys, Tiger Stadium, Detroit, Sparky Anderson, he'd have that grass going yo-high, all right? Because they didn't want they had slower players here, so they wanted that here. So it's sort of the same thing here. But we can't be surprised. It's 1,000,000 degrees in Florida. Right, it's Miami. All right, it's gonna be very tough to keep that ice, solid or extremely solid for 2.5, 3 hours here. So the best time to score is going to be in the first minute or two of each period here. So no, I'm not surprised, Dave. I was more surprised that the Edmonton ice also seemed to have problems in games 1 and 2. Maybe not to this degree, but they had issues as well.
All right. By the way, Tyon already 2 strikeouts for the Cubbies. How long of a leash does Skinner have? 2-0 first period. He's out of the game.
I mean, if they're so goals, you almost don't have a choice here. I mean, it's tough because if you pulled Skinner today and you went with Picard here, what are we going to do for game 4? Game 5, it didn't work out. You lost 5-2 again. You go to keep it Picard because you want to go back to Skinner and pray. This is a must-win game. They have to win today. If they go down 3-1, they're not winning. They're not coming back and beating Florida 3 times. They're just not doing that here. To answer your question, yes. If they go down 2-0 and at least one of those goals is like, oh, how'd that go in? He's gone. They're not going to have a choice here.
How do you think the game plays out to the total, George? I think this is the first one that goes under. All right? I have it either 4-2 or 5-1. Florida. I like Florida. But how do you see the total playing out?
You have to think Knobloch got on the team, right? He's the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers there. You can't do what they were doing. Evander Kane's trying to take heads, right? He's playing dirty. From the first period on, they took so many stupid penalties. So I'm sort of with you, Dave. I think this is going to be – I don't think it's going to be a wide-open game at all, especially Edmonton's going to be more in control here. The only way I see it getting to the over is if it happens again. Florida gets off to a 3-0 lead and then screw it.
Right.
Let's go get our pound of flesh. Let's go get even. That sort of thing here. Then I can see it getting out of control here. But I said I'm on Edmonton, and I don't think Edmonton's going to win 6-1 either. So I think this has to be an under for Edmonton to win 3-2. Maybe we get a little unlucky with an empty net goal. That could be a problem.
All right. Any other sport, George, and we would be all over Leon Draisaitl, right? You play on the guy who stunk out the game before, who got ripped in the media before. Guy has 0 shots, not shots on goal, 0 shots. I mean, he was invisible game 3. You get him 4 shots on goal at plus 154. 3 shots is minus 170. I'm not going to do that. But do you expect a big bounce back game? Maybe play goal for Draisaitl? Any hunch at all on Leon tonight?
I went with my normal bets in this game. Okay, so yes, I have Leon Draisaitl anytime goal. That's what I do for every Edmonton game. It did give me some pause, as you said. No shots. Is there an injury here? Did something happen in game 2 that we don't know about, or something early in game 3? Doesn't seem to be. He was on the ice yesterday for that optional skate. The media went bananas there because the Oilers lied to everybody, which is fine, whatever. So you do wonder what's going on there. Remember, McDavid only had 2 shots too. So McDavid and Draisaitl, 2 shots in game 3 total. That can't happen again, and that will not happen again. I'm on my normal bets here, my normal props here. McDavid, 2+ points. Draisaitl, anytime goal here. Going to take the Oilers to win the game here. The only thing I keep changing is my other anytime goal scorer for Edmonton. It was Corey Perry, but now they dropped him to the 4th line. I think they want to get a little bit more speed up top here. So they moved Connor Brown up there. Didn't take Brown. I thought about it here. I'm going to go for Evander Kane, all right, to make a little bit of an announcement here, right? He had the bad game, right? I mean, he's going to bounce back here. He'll score my anytime goal for Edmonton.
Does the Yankees have any of your attention tonight, George, with the hockey on? Will you have Yankees or against the Royals? Another short price. It looks so easy.
The Yankees, I have 6 TVs. There are 6 games on tonight. So the Yankees are on, and they're on the big screen. I'm a Yankee fan, so yes. But the Yankees put out that spring training lineup tonight. No Judge. Pablo Reyes is playing. No Jazz. I'm heavy on the Royals today. You could have got them at $1.25 if you would have seen that earlier. I got it at $1.10 plus 110 here. I'm on the Royals. I don't know if the Yankees score a run tonight.
All right, you want to hold on? We got no SGP, so we can do a little baseball talk with you. I want to hear from you about this Milwaukee Brewers pitcher that's throwing 300 miles an hour.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. The Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. You could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Ready? Ready? Jacob! Yes! Oh! It was never in doubt! It was never in doubt! Oh, there's points falling out of my eyeballs! Oh, James Johnson to the 10! Everybody gets home! The 228.5 matters!
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is in-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number one. Hockey just underway, so no change, no score, but about a minute and change into the first period, so we'll keep you posted on that. McDavid does have a shot on goal, or at least I saw him have one. Sometimes they don't credit as a shot on goal, but it certainly looked like one. So talk with George Kurtz, little hockey, little baseball as well, and we mentioned it as we were going out. The Milwaukee Brewers, George, Sid Finch Jr. on the hill for the Brewers tonight. Kid they called up that throws apparently 300 miles an hour. What do you know about him, if anything? And are you buying into the hype? And boy, it's been a rash, whether it's the Red Sox guys, whether it's the kid from the Kansas City Royals last week. There's been a rash of call-ups that have gotten a whole lot of attention in Major League Baseball the last week and change.
Yeah, the Super 2 deadline is over. All right, so they don't have to worry about that arbitration. That's why you're seeing these guys called up now. All the teams think they're cute, but they're all lying to us. Guys, talking about Jacob Mizorowski for the Milwaukee Brewers, who is a top prospect for the Brewers. And Scott's not kidding, by the way. This kid throws hard. All right, starting pitcher, not a reliever throwing the ball about 101, 102, can get up there at 103 at times here. His problem? Doesn't always know where it's going. All right.
Yeah, a little control issue.
Listen, if I'm a batter, I'm a little worried about getting, digging my cleats in there.
Yeah.
But he walks a lot of batters, so that's been an issue with him here. He's got it under control. His last couple of minor league starts, whatever that means, I don't know. But he is a top prospect. And so I mentioned to you, I thought about taking my fantasy league. I ended up taking a bell on Philadelphia Phillies instead here. Probably wish I would have went with this kid, but we'll see here. But yes, he's a good pitcher. How long they're going to go with him? Will they protect him? We'll see. Is he going to be on a pitch count, innings limit? That is all coming into play here. But it is a top prospect, and you should be watching his strikeout props.
I like that. Did you have any reason that you could possibly take the White Sox tonight against Framber Valdez and the Astros? There's no reason, right? No young guys. No nothing. Right. Okay. All right.
If I want to burn money, sure. I don't need that $100. Sure. No. It's just Houston in some kind of parlay if you're going to take them tonight. Valdez has pitched very well, by the way. He struggled that they threw a no-hitter about 2 years ago. He struggled really the rest of that year, part of last year. But he's found it again. He's back to being that ace starting pitcher for the Houston Astros. One of the reasons him and Hunter Brown, well, I hate the Astros. I mean, I can't stand that team. You'll never be able to convince me that Altuve wasn't wearing a buzzer. Never. I don't care about the garbage cans. It's the buzzer that bothers me. My wife didn't want me to take my shirt off. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, come on. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm not buying it there, buddy. But if they get into a 5-game series, Valdez and Brown are lined up. Good luck trying to beat them.
Wow. Could baseball be turning back the clock 25 years? Peterson for the Mets last night goes the distance in a shutout performance. We got the Tigers leading the Orioles 4-0, and Skubal, 7 innings, 3-hit baseball, 6 strikeouts. I don't know if he's going to come out for the bottom of the 8th inning, but boy, that would be a nice sign to see. Let him go at least one more inning, right? And maybe have these pitchers, God forbid, George, actually throw 105, 110 pitches and not have their arms fall off.
Not to mention, Abbott had a shutout for the Cincinnati Reds the day before, right? Tuesday night.
Right,
so,
that's right. Yes.
We're seeing some shutouts. But you and I both know, Scotty, if he's through 8 innings over 100 pitches, he ain't going for a shutout. They're going to pull him. Just what they do here. They're not going to mess with Skubal, right? Because Skubal is their meal ticket to get to where they want to go. Tigers know damn well the American League is wide open this year. All right, I know they just lost Jackson Joe with the Tommy John, but they'll make some additions at the deadline here, and they're as good as any other team. They're as good as the Yankees, Toronto, Houston, Seattle, whoever you want to throw there. So they'll be very protective of him.
He's thrown 98 pitches through 7. I don't think he comes out from the bottom of the 8th. I mean, they get another out. The Tigers get out. So I agree with you, George. He ain't pitching the 9th. Do you think he's pitching the 8th? I don't think he's pitching the 8th.
At 98, I think I would. Maybe it's pointless to them. Why? I mean, let him go to the 8th here, but I'd let him go out to out. If he gets an out and 2 pitches, fine. You get another batter. I'd let him go out to out, but I'd have the bullpen hot and heavy. Yes.
Mizorowski, by the way, 3 scoreless innings, no-hit baseball, 2 strikeouts. Can you imagine if this dude throws like a no-hitter, or realistically maybe goes 5, 6, 7 innings of no run, 1, 2-hit baseball. He strikes out 8. The hype around this kid, but Major League Baseball needs something goofy like that, right? I mean, why not?
He's already at 46 pitches, so he's certainly not going deep into the game. I can see him going 6, maybe 7 here, but this is good for the Brewers. They need someone like this.
They do. It's amazing. A Brewers team, they lose players left and right all the time, and yet there they are. Right there, they are every single year. It's amazing. So, George, great job as always. Enjoy the hockey. Good luck with the bets, and I'm sure we'll do it again soon.
Sounds good, boys.
We got in-game live game day here on the grid continues.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent a message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Ready? Ready? Jacob! Yes! Oh! It was never in doubt! It was never in doubt! Oh, there's points falling out of my eyeballs! Oh, James Johnson to the 10! Everybody gets home! The 228.5 matters!
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back in-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 1. Thanks again, George Kurtz, SportsGrid radio host, joining us as he does from time to time. So we're underway NHL, as we mentioned, no score. And Dave, you gave us a stat on the shots on goal. And I think it's a consensus, without knowing who has which number. Certainly since I saw, McDavid have 1 shot on goal, I would have predicted Edmonton with the higher number of shots on goal, but it's the other way around, is it not?
It is. It's now 8-1 shots on goal.
Wow.
Florida. Edmonton has your 1 shot that you happen to see with Connor McDavid. They are being out hit only 3-2, outshot 8-1. They lost 4 faceoffs compared to winning 3. No power plays yet, though. So, again, this is that game, right? Skinner game 4. We heard about it all day. We heard about it last series. We heard about it leading up to this series. He hasn't had to make that save yet, that one that you go, oh, that saved the game. But he's been in position and looked very calm so far. So if you got Edmonton, you're on the edge of your seat. If you got Florida, you feel like you probably should have 1 already. But the in-game total is now down to 5.5. Minus 160, Scott.
Ooh.
So
wow,
aggressively moving the total. Because we keep going a couple more minutes with no goals. We might get this. If there's no goals scored by about 5 minutes left in the first period, we'll be at 4.5.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, right? I mean, you know better than all. If you say the game is 6.5, as it was, you divide it up into periods, it averages out to be 2 goals a period, with one having one more. So if you go through one period, you got to lower it. It seems like it's a big drop, but if you just do it percentage-wise, that's what it is. I tell you, they were 7.5 minutes in, as you said, the 5.5. You wonder with Edmonton, right? I thought they controlled play for the most part game 1. I thought they really controlled for the most part game 2, but still lost. And even, game 3, in which they got badly outplayed, still shots-wise, they had a gazillion shots. It's just like they just didn't score, then kind of screwed around and gave up in the third. So you just wondered, can you continue to, not control play, but really, I'll say control play, I guess, for 4 games. And maybe we're finding out the answer is no, you can't. I mean, eventually Florida's going to kind of flex their muscles a little bit, and so far they are, even though it is 0-0.
Yeah, they absolutely are. I mean, amazing stat for game 3. Edmonton outshot Florida 33-31, despite the fact that Florida had 11 power plays. They had 11 power plays. They were 3 for 11 on the 11 power plays. Because that game got crazy at the end. Edmonton had 6 power plays. They only scored 1. But if you'd have asked me who outshot who, and the final score was 6-1 Florida, I would have lost, because I'd have said Florida outshot them. I didn't really realize until I just looked it up that Edmonton outshot them. They're not going to outshoot them tonight unless something drastically changes or Edmonton gets 2 or 3 power plays. You could tell the refs are staying out of this one. I mean, the players are maybe playing that way a little bit too, but there hasn't been a play where I've been watching where I went, geez, why wasn't that called? They're playing it pretty straight up, and another shot from nowhere from the sideboards. So now it's 10-2 shots on goal. I mean, Florida has it in mind that they got to throw the puck on the net. So I wish we had the Skinner prop over saves.
Yeah,
he's gonna go right. He's gonna fly. Look like he's gonna fly over.
He's gonna fly over that. By the way, where is where is Travis Kelce from?
Cleveland.
Yeah, Cincinnati. Yeah. Or well, actually, I should say he went to school at Cincinnati.
He's from Cleveland. Yeah, but he's from Cleveland. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I'm trying to find a reason why he would be at Edmonton versus Florida with his little bow there, Taylor Swift, who we've shown. All right, now here we go. There's 3 times now in the last 30 seconds. Over under Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce shots in a hockey game. 50,000 tonight? Oh my! Stop, please stop. They're human beings. All right, they're out on a date. Whatever you want to call. I don't care. I mean, it's not like he doesn't play for the Miami Dolphins, so there's no tie that I know of. That's why I asked where is he from. That we need to be seeing him 5,000 times. I'm sure there's other celebrities in the stands. I would think so anyway. Do we need to see them 5,000 times?
It's bizarre because I haven't seen him yet on the shots.
Oh, you will. I have. Yeah,
okay.
Rita Rogers just saw.
I'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. But I am getting.
We should use the goal horn for that. We should use the goal every time we see Kelce and Swift on TV.
I got the under tonight, boys. I don't want to hear that goal horn too many times. And I got the under.
That's true.
I don't want to hear that. Our guy PB's watching the show. He said, the same thing you did. He's like, why do they keep showing Travis Kelce at the hockey game? He just sent me a text. But he also wanted to let us know he had the how do you say the Milwaukee pitcher's name? Mizbrowski?
Mizorowski?
Mizorowski? I don't know. Either way, he had his walks over. 1.5 walks.
Ooh, he hit that already.
Knowing he throws hard and that he's a little bit wild. Yes. So he hit that already. So he's already ahead watching this hockey.
3 walks. Well, I don't think FanDuel offers walks on pitchers. I would like that. 1.5 for a guy who's making his major league debut.
Yep.
Boy, I would have been all over that. That's a soft line, huh?
Yeah. Well, you don't know how many innings he's going to pitch, right? That's the thing. It's hard to make that number. What are you going to make it, 2.5? You're going to take nothing but unders, right?
Yeah, he's got 3. But you would think he's going to at least be out there for 3-4 innings So if he's out there for 3-4, he's either going to be lousy and he'll get the 2 walks, or he'll be good, but he's going to be, the better he is, the longer he's going to be out there. I would take over 1.5. Yeah, who's our listener or watcher? That's I would like to know what's the TB? What's the average? Run down the other game like they're all underway already, unfortunately. So, but what would be? You would know. Would you put? Would 1.5 be the normal number for a starting pitcher, or 2? I would think 2.5. 1.5. Boy, I bet over on all that stuff.
The number is usually 2. Right? Most times you probably look at a starter and look at his walks per 9 innings pitched or whatever it is and try to figure it out.
Right.
The number's probably 2 most of the time, but these books don't use whole numbers.
Right.
So you use 1.5 with the juice big over or 2.5 with the juice big under. And you kind of got to guess how many innings you think the guy's going to pitch. Like, when you make the number. If you think he's going to go 4 to third, 5 or less, it's probably 1.5. If you think he's got potential to throw 6 innings or more, it's probably 2. So it varies. I mean, if it was Scooble, it would be 0, right? That guy just pitches and doesn't have no walks. I mean, he's got 7 walks on the season. So it would be different for upper level, higher level pitchers. By the way, the Orioles got a run. Did Scooble give it up? No, he did not. The reliever came in, gave up a run. He only threw the 7. He did not even start the 8th. So there you go. The Orioles got to be overjoyed, right?
I hope they lose. I hope they lose just because God forbid, 4-run leads with 2 innings left on the road is not insurmountable. The guy can't throw 100 pitches, really. I mean, 3 games complete so far today. 6 starting pitchers. 4 of the 6 had 2 walks or more. Okay. Senga only had 1, and he might have had, but he left the game. And who was the other one? There was 1 more. Poor Bailey Ober had 6. How about an adjusted line on walks, man? I would bet that. You get some guy like Ober who's a halfway decent pitcher who's just wild. Yeah. I like that one.
We'll have to look that up for tomorrow. Maybe we'll involve that.
Definitely. We've had a new bet here. I like that.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent a message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face, and after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. The Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. You could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Freddie, Jacob! Yes! Oh! It was never in doubt! It was never in doubt! Oh, there's points falling out of my eyeballs! Oh, James Johnson to the 10! Everybody gets home! The 228.5 matters!
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
everybody. Welcome back. King Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number one. And what we've seen so many times while we were away, I'm thinking the Florida Panthers have scored a goal, believe it or not. FanDuel, anyway, has it 1-0 Florida. I'm looking on the three-letter network. There it is. All right, Matthew Tkachuk apparently with the goal score for the Florida Panthers. Now we can officially have the goal fellas. Wow. On a power play
stay out
goal.
of the penalty box. Yep, two-man advantage. You got to stay out of the penalty box. Tkachuk with a nice wrist shot, beat him. The building the roof just blew off. I mean, that's one of those goals by a guy who everybody loves. Lower blocker side. That was a really good shot. I'm not putting that one on Skinner. Skinner's been really good so far. But
come on, when you go in here, you turn it into a soft cupcake. Come on, that guy, he's got to make that save. He's the goaltender, for goodness sakes. There's an excuse for everything. Well, like talking to my wife here. Yeah, I know the sun's out. That doesn't mean you can't cook and clean because the sun is out. You know, I mean, you gotta cook and clean. It's raining outside. What's that got to do with inside? Who cares if it's blocker side? You know, what does it say in the rule book of goaltender? I can't make a save blocker side. Can't make a save high to the glove side. Can't make a save low to the glove side. Make the save. That's why we pay you the money. Make the save. Don't get in a position where you're screened.
Do you have Edmonton?
No,
I don't. What are you talking about?
I like Florida. I know I do. I got Florida. I got the over. I needed the goal, but it's just
going on right now.
So I want fair play. I speak for the lower man, the idiot out there that actually bet Edmonton tonight for some dopey reason, even though the whole world's on Florida. So one of the Florida. You got to make all right. Listen out. If it's 2-0, if he gives up another goal like that before the first period ends, is he out?
Then what? No.
You know,
I don't think
weird?
so.
I was thinking of this when, by the way, why did the NHL give out their awards today? How stupid is Gary Bettman in the NHL? I tell you, it's like a bunch of 5-year-olds running this league. It really is amazing. Why in the world would you ever give your MVPs and all that other stuff not only during the Stanley Cup Finals, but okay, you want to make it an off day. You don't do it on game day because no one's talking about that stuff tomorrow. They're talking about the game. You buried your own sport by yourself. You're so stupid. Yeah. It's like you couldn't run things any more dumber than the NHL. I swear to God.
Were you surprised by it, though? Like, did Hellebuck got them both?
I was, and that's kind of my point. Like, you know, the guy was awful in the postseason, right? But ultimately, this kind of reminds you of how good and how great he was. So it's like, all right, I understand why you're going back to Hellebuck, man, because the guy was terrific this regular season. But you can't say that about Stuart Skinner. So it's like, you know, he doesn't have the Hellebuck resume. How long do you just go down the drain with Stuart Skinner when you had a goaltender who was 6-0 in his 6 starts this year? You know, in the postseason. You know, sometimes you got to give up the fight with Skinner.
Stopped 12 shots out of 13 so far on the road against the power play, multiple man advantage. Relax. You want to pull this guy? We can't pull this guy. It's a huge. Listen. Who's the guy for Dallas? DeBoer. DeBoer pulled Ottinger after 2 goals in a decider.
That was stupid.
I mean,
that was like the Russian head coach at a Miracle on Ice. What was his name when he pulled Trocheck there? Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Victor Tikhonov. Yeah, pulled Tretiak, which was ridiculous too. Those of you that haven't seen the Miracle movie, go watch it. It's great. We actually saw it live, Wetzel and I, 1980 Olympics. No, 1984. 1980. Anyhow,
80.
Can't pull him. Just I mean, we need no more goals. What's the total right now? Is it 5.5 again? Yes.
Yeah, 5.5, minus 120. Florida's a whopping 295. Edmonton's plus 220. You know, other
Cosmic
games I'd be betting
Zone.
Edmonton, you know, hedge a little bit. You know me, I hedge on everything. But
Right.
when you've been outshot 13-2, is it? Or something pretty close to that. If not that,
Okay,
it's like there's no
13-2, yep.
sense 13-3. There's no sense hedging on Edmonton right now. Now listen, you could score a goal in one shot, I get that. But Edmonton I'm very disappointed in Edmonton. Not necessarily surprised, but you know, I was saying on the podcast today, you know, Edmonton showed a little character, a little backbone last year, right? Being down 3-0, could have rolled over easily. I gave them all the credit for rallying to make it a 3-3 game. Could have laid over against the LA Kings down 2-1 or 2-0. Rather, they did. You know, they've shown some character. For them to come out this bad after getting embarrassed, Game 3. Well, that's you could have your Connor McDavid and your Leon Draisaitl's all you want. This is what goes back to my original notion about him being overrated. Where are these guys? Draisaitl's still no shot on goal. He's played almost a game and a period, and he doesn't have a shot, let alone a shot on goal. McDavid only one.
It's one of those situations where I think, you know, and people are watching a show. If you guys are watching a show, I mean, tweet at us, at Opposite Picks, at SportsBcake and Sig, tag SportsGrid, let them know you're watching, because we really appreciate the interaction. Is this more what Edmonton's not doing than what Florida is doing? Florida is dominating. Florida has been to the Stanley Cup final 3 years in a row. This is an elite hockey team with a really good coach, great back-end goaltending, super physical, fast when they need to be, play great as a team, excellent special teams. Before I totally dismiss and say it's Edmonton and being disappointed, I tip my cap completely to what Florida's doing. They're dominating.
Shouldn't be dominating, though, when it's pick 'em, you know, the series. Right? I mean, it's dominating if it's. Listen, Edmonton's been to back-to-back Stanley Cups. We're not talking about the Mighty Ducks here. We'll close them out number one next.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent a message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, the Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, you know, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Ready? Ready? Jacob! Yes! Oh! It was never in doubt! It was never in doubt! Oh, there's points falling out of my eyeballs! Oh, James Johnson to the 10! Everybody gets home! The 228.5 matters!
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave cruising along. I can't believe we're closing out hour number 1 already. How about that? Florida Panthers leading the Edmonton Oilers 1-0 game 4. And Dave about to enter a 2-minute power play as well. 3.5 minutes left to go. Another stupid penalty, a senseless penalty, right? Stick in the face of Brad Marchand. Lucky they didn't draw blood. Yep. Otherwise, it would have been 4 or 5 minutes. But, I mean, that's a penalty. Like, you're not crashing into someone. That's just not controlling your stick. I mean, I don't think he did it on purpose or anything, but just that's basic hockey. You got to keep your stick on the ice, fellas. What are you doing?
Not a good penalty at all. And especially after, I mean, it's 13-5 shots on goal. There's 4 minutes left in the first period. You can survive the rest of this period if you're Edmonton. Get out of here. Let's go to the locker room down 1-0, and we'll figure it out. And you give them another power play. This is, I don't want to say it's the game, but it essentially is the game. If Florida scores on this power play, we hear the goal horn before the break. It's a wrap tonight. I don't think Edmonton's coming back. I think they got to get out of this period, kill this penalty, and maybe catch a goal late to tie this thing up. But they got to be down 1 by the time this period's over. So, yeah, we'll see. By the way, those 11 power plays was the most in a game in Stanley Cup final history in Game 3.
Really?
Not good. Yeah, that was the most the team has ever had. I knew that number was absurd when I saw it. Yeah, that was a record.
Wow. Is it a wrap for tonight, or is it a wrap for the series, or both, in your eyes?
It's a wrap for tonight. If Florida gets a goal here, goes into the break 2-0, I don't see Edmonton coming back. It's going to take, multiple power plays. The refs are going to have to bring him back in the game, and Florida's playing really smart. So I don't think it's. Right. I think it's a wrap tonight. Essentially, yes, the series is over, but I still think Edmonton wins Game 5. What happened? This guy again.
Which is it? Which one of my two guys? Is it Bennett or Marchand? Which one?
Neither. It's Kachuk.
I don't want that.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
Well, you
right in the slot. There he is on the doorstep.
Yeah,
just all alone on the doorstep. 2-0 Florida. Kachuk's second goal. It's funny. I had this whole thing lined up about we were going to talk about the players and this and that. As I say, Matthew Kachuk, really had a very quiet series. Hasn't really done anything. He hasn't scored a goal. I think he's got 1 assist, a couple shots on goal last game, but nothing crazy. Being overshadowed by all these other guys, and lo and behold, he's got 2 goals tonight. 2-0. Now it's back up to 6.5. By the way,
to 6.
Wow.
It's still 3 minutes left in the first period. This isn't Skinner's fault.
Now are you pulling him? All right, here we go again. Nope. Not Skinner's fault. But are you pulling?
Not his fault. The 2 power play goals. Nobody's near Kachuk. He's on the doorstep, like
you're
you said.
Somebody get out of the postseason. He's going to give up 150 goals, and you knuckleheads are all going to be saying, "Well, it's not his fault, though." Well, whose fault is it then? I mean,
if he gives
it's the
up
coach's
another
fault
goal,
for keeping him in there.
Right. It might be time. If he gives up another goal, all right, I'll do it. 3-0. Tell Pickard, Calvin, get in there.
But then the game's lost.
Stop everything. I don't know. The good thing is,
you might as well let hang him out to dry. Don't even let, if it gets to 3-0, you lost the game. So I don't want to bring in my backup because now the backup's playing Game 5. So I don't want my backup to get torched as well. Then it's Game 5. It's like, forget about it. That would never completely shot. And at least I'll go into Game 5 with some hope with the backup playing. Honestly, that's how I would do it. If I'm not going to pull him now, then I understand. But if he gives up a third goal, that's it. Game's over. So you know what? I might as well keep him in there and just give up, 5, 6, 7 goals, whatever it is, and then go to Pickard for Game 5.
It's perfect timing because this game is going to be either 2-0, most likely, or possibly even 3-0 by the time we get to the break. And Fiddle's our next guest. And we won't have to talk about hockey for at least a segment because we're going to ask Fiddle about basketball. Hopefully, Fiddle will have some answers to the questions of who's going to win this series because again, you came on and told everybody that the Pacers were winning Game 3. I'll be very interested to see what he says and what you have to say about the series in general.
Yeah. Little surprised the line's not higher than what it is. So Michael Fiddle, Action Network, joins us next here on the Grid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Ready? Jacob! Yes! Oh! It was never in doubt! It was never in doubt! Oh, there's points falling out of my eyeballs! Oh, James Johnson to the 10! Everybody gets home! The 228.5 matters!
In-game live. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Let's see if my knucklehead partner still wants to keep Skinner in there, as they're getting skinned alive. That'll be the headline: skinned alive, 3-0. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anton Lundell, while we were away, boy, they've scored 3 goals, and each one came when we were in break. It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
So 3-0. You pulling them now to start the second period?
Yeah.
Well, he's got
to start the second period. He's gonna finish it out, and then bring him, go in the locker room, break all the sticks, throw the garbage cans all over, turn over all the tape, whatever you got to do, and say, I'm pulling him, I'm putting him in. You guys want to play? This is the season. You got to change everything. So, yeah, that's it. I'm glad Fiddle's here.
14-2, by the way.
Talk about basketball.
Last 16 goals, 14 have been scored by the Florida Panthers in this series. It has just completely turned. Yeah. So, all right. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let that get to the second period. We'll update the lines there when they come out. Let's talk a little hoops, a little NBA shocker in Florida with the Panthers to a certain extent, and obviously a shocker in the NBA Finals as Indiana has a 2-1 series lead. Michael Fiddle, Action Network, joins us to talk about the series. Mike, before we get to Game 4, your thoughts on Game 3? What you think was going to happen, and your reaction to what actually did?
I personally was backing Oklahoma City in Game 3. I thought it was the first reasonable price we had in the series to get on the OKC side. So ended up losing the bet. But looking at that game, it was the most complete game that the Pacers played really throughout these entire playoffs. I mean, they looked good up and down the roster. You had bench contributions. You had the starters playing really well. You had good defense by the center sliding over and help. You had them playing man. You had them playing zone. So it was really, I mean, if you just want to give the credit and the flowers to Rick Carlisle, it was one of the best coaching efforts and had the team playing completely organized, you say on a string type of basketball, the way the ball was moving, the way that the people were moving on defense. You often use the term of a shish kebab on defense, where like all three players should be in a row depending on where that angle is, and it really worked for the Indiana Pacers. They were an amoeba on both sides of the ball. They made Oklahoma very confused, and they unsurprisingly came out with the win. I thought this was the closest test that Oklahoma's had in any sort of talent, and it makes sense now. The power rating in terms of these odds is putting Indiana as one of the best teams that they've faced, and yeah, it's hard to argue at this point.
Good to see you, Michael. All of that being said, the line for Game 4 is higher. The line for the series, OKC is still a 2-1 / 230 to 240 favorite. If OKC wins Game 4, is the series back to even? Or are we back to the price? Or is Indiana still live? The ultimate question is does Indiana have to win Game 4 to win the series?
No, Indiana doesn't have to win Game 4 to win the series. I'm one of those headstrong people with like numbers and analytics and percent probabilities where, I mean, if the Wizards were down 0-3 to the Thunder, I would tell you, yeah, the Wizards still have a chance. I'll never say any series unless it's 3-0 has a chance of ending in Game 4. Unless the series is actually over, it's not actually over, and these teams can always come back and win a few. I think we've learned throughout these playoffs, Dave, that one game has little effect on the next. I mean, this series has been zigzag both directions in every game. We had the Game 3 win of the Minnesota Timberwolves beating the Thunder by like 40 points, and then them coming around the next game and winning and taking care of the series in the next two. So I do think this is still an Oklahoma City spot in Game 4. I do think this is still an Oklahoma City spot in the series. I do think the 2-1 is appropriately priced. I understand we're all reactionary. We all are telling themselves the story that we want to see, right? So anybody who's watching the Pacers right now looked at Game 1 and was like, that's where we got them. That's what we do. We come alive when we're down 9 with 2 minutes left. It's obviously unsustainable. And then you see them play a complete game like they did in Game 3. And the people on the Oklahoma City side are going to say, you know, this team is still way better, and it's still multiple games left to get to the finish line. So yes, Oklahoma is going to be favored in every single game, and therefore, yeah, they should end up winning this series. What I really want to point to with this Oklahoma City team is they have been, despite their age, and guys, they are the second youngest team in the NBA by average age. The only team younger than them is the Portland Trailblazers. The only team younger than them by usage rate is the Washington Wizards, because they played their rookies for thousands of minutes. This Oklahoma City team has an average age of 24 years old and 7 months. So it is crazy how young this team is that they're here. All of that to be said, they are one of the most headstrong and mentally stable groups I've ever come across in the NBA. I am not going to think they're going to react to being down 1. You heard them in the press conference said down 1 just means a great opportunity for the next game. I don't think they're getting too catastrophic on their side of the ball. They still have a fantastic coach and MVP, superstars up and down the lineup. So I still think this is an Oklahoma City series, City spot in Game 4. And I understand it's been a phenomenal storyline for Indiana, but in the NBA, the best team normally wins. And despite Indiana being up 1 game, I don't think that means they win the series.
All right. Are you surprised? I am, Mike, that the line is only 6, in that they lose Game 1, OKC, as a 9.5 point favorite, and then they make Game 2 an 11-point favorite, with the thinking of, well, there's no way they can lose 2 in a row, right? Now, they go from a 5.5 point favorite. It does go up, but it only goes up 0.5 point. So it may be slowly that the Indiana Pacers are getting a little bit more respect, because I would have thought they would have bumped that thing to 7, just because the thinking is the same thing. There's no way they're going to fall 3 games to 1 behind. Series might be over at that point.
So I will give you 2 caveats to maybe why the line hasn't moved so much as it was in Game 1 and 2. So we have to first consider which numbers is it moving through. So going from 10 to 11 or 11.5 is way less of a switch from 5.5 to 6. 6 is the most important number in NBA basketball. It is the most common outcome over the last 3 seasons. 5 is one of the second most common push numbers because of how many games are priced at that number. So the value, if you just extrapolate the line moves in terms of how many cents or how much VIG is this actually worth, it's not as extreme as it looks. Yes, the move between game 1 and game 2 was bigger than this, in terms of the VIG price too. Those total points still more worth to the line than half the point is here, even though it's a more important number. I also think you need to include that, like, we looked a lot better on the Indiana Pacers side. The Pacers game 1 really felt like a fluke win, and I think we're all pretty comfortable saying that because Oklahoma City was up 14 with a few minutes left, and the win probabilities were 1% chance, and they led that game for 0.3 seconds. So not only do we're coming into this game with yeah, we are upgrading Indiana on the power rating. We are downgrading OKC because now they've moved to 0-8 against the spread on the road. So yeah, they're not that strong on the road right now. Indiana 7-2 at home in these playoffs now. And so yeah, I think there's a boost up in the home court rating. There's an adjustment down in Oklahoma City. And I also think you have to consider the value of the number and how many possessions of a threshold that makes that line.
All that being said, Michael, who wins game 4?
Oklahoma wins game 4. I like them on the money line. I would lay the VIG. I like Hartenstein under 0.5 blocks, which is minus 125. I don't think he's going to play much, and I don't think he has a lot of block opportunities. So I would go Hartenstein unders and OKC money line.
Mike, great job as always. Check out all his work, actionnetwork.com. Mike, we'll do it again soon. Thanks, man.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in game live. Game day here on the grid. A lot to get to hour number 2. Boy, this amazing sports can be so fascinating, right? We got the pucks in between first and second period. Florida with a whopping 3-0 lead. We talked a little NBA. I want to get back to that in a second. But I do want to update the baseball here, Dave. We saw in the break, Milwaukee leading St. Louis 6-0. That's not the story. This kid, Bizarowski, who throws, literally 104, I guess he topped out at 103. But 100 miles an hour, making his major league debut tonight, and he's throwing no-hit baseball. We brought it up when he had threw 2, kind of laughing. We joked about it through 3. He is now through 5, pitching top 6. He's still in there. Would not be. What's the record? I wonder. Has a kid ever made his debut and throw a no-hitter? I don't think so. But I wonder what the record is.
Right?
Yeah,
in the movies
yeah.
maybe. I don't think in
I
Major
did
League
wiffle
Baseball.
ball. I think I threw a no-hitter in my wiffle ball debut, but 81 pitches through 5 strikeouts, 3 walks.
No shot.
No hits.
No shot they're letting him go. There's no shot they're letting him go. Hopefully let him go another inning or 2.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Who cares who throws his arm out? I would let him go.
The number 1 pitching
you know
prospect in baseball.
So what? They all are. You know what I would do? And I'm not joking about this. And I don't know why these nitwit managers don't do this, right? Now, this is a little different because he's got 81 through 5. But let's say he gets through 6 at 91. All right, let's say he gets through 7 at 101, 102. All right, he's got 2 innings left. You got a 6-0 at worst lead. Let's assume Milwaukee doesn't score. You tell the kid, listen, kid, underhand. And he'll look at you like, what? Throw underhand. Underhand, you got 2 options. We got 3 options. 1, take a seat on the bench. Or 2, throw underhand like it's a softball. Or 3, lob the ball over, just soft toss it. And if they don't get a hit, then you got a no-hitter. If they get it, as soon as they get a hit, you're out of the game. But you got a 6-0 at worst lead to play with. You have some, let the kid at least try. Who knows? Maybe the Dopey Cardinals, hit the ball right at people for the last 6 outs. And he's got a chance at a no-hitter. With that kind of lead, you got glasses up, right? I'm not talking about a 1 or 2-0 game. You got a 6-0 lead. Let the kid just throw the ball out there. We see it all the time when outfielders and infielders and backup catchers, play in these games when it's 11-0. All they do is just soft toss it. The kid could. They took him out of the game. Son of a gun.
Thank you.
Kid is throwing a no-hitter. 81 pitches, and they just took him out of the game.
Lobbing it up there, throwing it underhand. What the hell's wrong with you? We're pitching a
win.
Not? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. What are you talking about? Come on.
You can't hold a 6-run lead at home. You didn't even let him get to the 6th inning with 81 pitches. Unless, they want the kid to be able to say that, you know what, in his major league debut, he threw no-hit baseball.
Through 5,
so let's not take him out
innings,
for the
no hit baseball. Yeah, right.
Right.
That's all. 81.
Maybe,
we're good.
Maybe that's the strategy.
We're winning 6-0. Sit down. We'll get this one home for you. Good job. Welcome to the bigs. That's a great opening start. Career moment. He's 23 years old. It's pronounced Mizorowski. Looks like, and wow, he's pitching in place of Savali, who they moved to the bullpen, who asked for a trade. Oh, boy. That guy Savali's not going to be on the Brewers no more.
Yeah.
Wow.
How did that move make? Good luck, Aaron. Try defending yourself with that one in front of a judge.
Jeez.
I should have been pitching tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
that would
he
be
last
the only
pitched
thing.
Sunday for Nashville. He tossed 5 scoreless innings, only allowed 2 hits, 7 Ks, and 3 walks. Looks just like his outing tonight, right? 3 walks, 5 Ks, 5 innings, no hits. This is pretty good.
What?
We got to put him on the list.
Yeah. You know what, too? I might give the Brewers manager a little bit of a pass. Milwaukee scored 5 in the bottom of the 5th inning. So I'm assuming that took a long time, right? You don't score 5 runs overnight.
Got cold.
Yeah, maybe he was sitting on the bench for a half hour, right?
Yeah.
You know what? we're not going to take any chances.
Smart.
So
Smart.
maybe.
Okay.
I still let him throw a couple innings underhanded till they got a hit anyway. I would.
The underhanded.
Until you get a hit.
Stop.
Underhand.
Please.
You throw your arm out, throw it underhanded? I don't think so.
No,
but
we don't need to do that. We don't. He's 6'7". Yeah. I don't want him doing anything except what he's trained to do.
Yeah.
6'7", right? You can mess yourself up. Yeah, that's a big dude. We don't need him doing anything.
All right, let me ask you this. And we would touch on it with Mike. So OKC down 2-1, losing home court advantage, is still a -230 favorite to win the series. Are you telling me if Indiana wins game 4 and goes up 3-1, that would be what? Pick 'em? Even at 3-1? How big of a favorite? I'm assuming, Indiana would be a favorite to win the series up 3-1, right? But I'm surprised they're still that much of an underdog. So what would it be if it was Pacers up 3-1?
Pacers small, meaning less than 150. We could range it anywhere from 140 to 130 to 120 to 110, anywhere you want. I think we could get whatever bet we wanted. If we want to, we make the Pacers -110, they'll lay it. If we make the Pacers -140, they'll be glad to take OKC +120. They're going to be double-digit favorites in Game 5. That's a win.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. So that's in oddsmakers' eyes, it's just a math problem. They should win Game 4, which would jump it back up to probably -$5. They win Game 5, it goes back to the original series price, -700, -750. It's crazy to say because arguably it's been a pick'em series. I mean, OKC won Game 2 pretty convincingly, but it's still 2-1 Indiana.
Yeah. It's crazy. There's no respect for this Pacer team at all. At all.
None.
All right, more coming up.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent a message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face, and after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. The Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a +340 price.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Know him! Ralph! Ready? Ready? Jacob! Yes! Oh! It was never in doubt! It was never in doubt! There's points falling out of my eyeballs! James Johnson to the 10! Everybody gets home! The 228.5 matters!
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid on this fabulous Thursday evening. Game 4, Florida leading at 3-0 as they just started the second period. And Calvin Pickard is in the nets for the Edmonton Oilers. They post Lord Skinner, who gave up 3 goals in the first period on about 5,000 shots. But ultimately, they did score 3 times. So he is out. Pickard is finally in. He's 6-0. Goals against average right around 1.5. Played a little bit in Game 5, gave up 1 goal on 8 shots, or Game 5, Game 3, gave up 1 goal on like 7 or 8 shots from Florida. So we'll see what happens. That provides a spark. We'll see if Edmonton score, Dave. It's 3-0. They got to do something. They can't roll over. You know, we've seen this team come back, right? They scored 2 goals in the final minute against the Kings in the first round. So they're more than capable of coming back. Let's see if they show a little bit of life here. Betting-wise, Florida's minus 22-1. You can't bet that. You want to bet 3.5? I don't want to do that. 6.5 is the total. Can't bet the under in a 3-0 game with 2 periods left. But if you want to go over, that's minus 148, so I can't do that. So the only thing that's really left is Edmonton plus 3.5 goals, minus 120. I think I would take a flyer on that. I would be really surprised if this thing ends up like 6-1. Like Game 3. They got to have some heart, right? And at least put up a fight here.
I don't know. I mean, you would think so, yes, but Scott, they're being dominated. I mean, completely dominated tonight. So, again, I don't think the referees are going to call many more penalties. I think Florida is going to play really smart and not give them a reason to call penalties. So, Edmonton's going to have to press and open up even more. They could lose this thing by 4. It could be 4-0, 5-1 in that neighborhood, something like that. 3.5 would normally be an autoplay. In a game like this, they're supposed to come back. They're supposed to, autoplay. You'd be love to take 3.5 in a Stanley Cup final game with 2 pretty, evenly matched teams. I mean, it was a little better than a pick'em game series price. So, but I can't. I mean, based on what my eyes are seeing, I don't want to take 3.5. I'd actually rather lay 3.5. If you force me to pick one or the other, I'd lay 3.5 before I took 3.5. And I normally would never do that.
Draisaitl, no shots. Frederick, no shots. Kane, no shots on goal anyway with Kane. McDavid has 2. Nugent Hopkins has 1. Corey Perry, nothing. Bouchard has 1. And that's basically it. Nurse 1. They got 9 shots on goal. Like the big boys just didn't come to play for Florida. Barkov's got 3. Marchand has 2. Reinhart 2. Rodriguez 2. Kachuk 2. How about my boy Bennett? He's got 1. We can get him on the board. Yeah. Seth Jones 1. So I played a bunch of those 2-shot on goal parlays, so we need a few more shots on goal. So, all right, so 3-0. Let this simmer a little bit. Baseball Stanks are in a rain delay, although I think they just resumed. They were in a rain delay in the 6th inning, no score. They're back in action. So they're basically pick them. Yanks minus 120, Kansas City minus 106. Cubbies 3-0 over your Pirates. Let's see if Tyon got his 5 strikeouts. He had 2 early on.
While you're looking at that, I'm looking at exact scores of a hockey game. Panthers 4-0 is 14-1. Panthers 4-1 is plus 750. And Panthers 4-2 is 10-1. I think it's one of those 3. I think it's one of those 5-1. Oh, wow. Okay. Panthers 5-1 is 8-1. That's actually the second choice.
Yeah.
It's actually the second choice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
1 more goal, then you get Edmonton to score 1 time, and then an empty netter. Because they would pull the goal down.
I cannot find the in game for the Conn Smythe. See if you can find it.
Edmonton was on a power play. So
there it is. There it is.
Goal for the Oilers.
They got 1.
You got 1, Edmonton?
We're on the
All
board.
right.
Yep.
As long as it's not
All
McDavid, I'm okay with it. Who was it?
It was not. It was not McDavid. No. McDavid looked like he got an
Corey
assist,
Perry?
though.
Yeah, that's all right. He always
Nugent
gets-
Hopkins.
Nugent Hopkins. All right, that's
Yep.
good because I had 2 shots on goal from him. So that's the
Okay.
second one. All right, so
we still
3-1.
got a hockey
Yeah,
game.
there you go. We got a hockey game. That 3.5 I grabbed. Looking better. More coming up in Game Live.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You stare a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Freddie, Jacob! Yes! Oh! It was never in doubt! It was never in doubt! There's points falling out of my eyeballs! Oh, James Johnson to the 10! Everybody gets home! The 228.5 matters!
In-game live. Only on SportsGrid.
Brad, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. So we get a goal from the Edmonton Oilers. Let me give you the details and the updated odds on that. As far as the details, it is right. Nugent Hopkins, power play goal. Assists go to, survey says. Let's see if our boy McDavid got one. He did. Draisaitl and McDavid. All right, so he figured number 1 line starting a power play that would be the case. So there you go. So 3-1. 3.5 minutes in. So, we got ourselves a game. Not that it wasn't a game beforehand, but certainly makes it a little bit more closer, a little bit more reasonable. Could have had Edmonton at 11-1 before. We grabbed them plus 3.5 goals. Now it's down to plus 520. Still pretty good price on the Oilers with well over half the game left. Florida's minus 9-1. They make these bigs so crazy. Obviously they don't want any more Florida money. Over-under is back over to 7.5. We're sitting on the over 6.5 as one of our plays, and really 5.5 for our 5 in the line. So they were 2 goals away from hitting that one. So, it looks like it's going to be another over too. I don't know. We got to get nothing but overs this series. It's amazing. Goal after goal after goal. If Florida's 3 goals, by the way, gives us that much closer to 25, which is paying our 8-1. But go ahead. Sorry.
Right. No. That's right. What was the number for Edmonton? I can't remember. Same?
We
25 and 25, right?
Both 25. Yep, and Edmonton paid 8-1, and Florida paid. Actually, Edmonton paid $8.50, and then Florida paid $8.80, which is down before today's game. I looked at all the odds again, and we got the original tickets we have are all looking pretty good. Florida to score 25 goals now is plus 194. We got it at plus 880.
Okay.
So that's come way down. You gotta believe they're
I
going to
don't
get at
think
least
you're
one
going to
more
get
tonight.
your Bobrovsky. I don't think we're going to get the
Yeah.
Bobrovsky saves. He's only got the
I
12
know.
shots on goal for
He's got
Edmonton so
12.
far.
If we could, 13 and a half minutes left, if we could get that to, 19, 18, final period, they get 8 or 9, that's not that far off. I would like more, but it's not. He's got 11 because they got the one
Right.
goal.
Right.
Yeah, if he can get 7 or 8 more saves, get it to 18 saves, and then we'll need 9 in the final period in which they're trailing and
Okay.
then buzzing.
Right.
We're not out of it.
Got a shot. Not out of it.
Got a
But we got to
shot.
get another power play, I think, right? Got to get a power
Yeah.
play, multiple shots on goal in a short period of time to get this back
Yeah.
on pace. You did mention a baseball before. It's a combined no-hitter now through 6 in Milwaukee. We've had this discussion before. Is a combined no-hitter a no-hitter in your eyes?
I mean, yeah. 9 times out of 10, it's the pitcher that you're rewarding the no-hitter, but ultimately it's the team that is getting no hit. So in this case, St. Louis, it would be, they were no hit. So
right.
I would
don't
be
sound
putting it in.
convinced, though.
Well,
You don't sound convinced.
I
You're
mean,
like,
I wouldn't.
you're making that
Like,
noise
I wouldn't
again.
give
You're
the
doing that
pitcher.
thing.
I wouldn't give the pitchers credit for a no hitter, but I would give it down as a no hitter. Yeah, they went the entire game without getting a hit. You know how difficult that is. I mean, you think about the entire 27 outs. I mean, nobody could get a hit. Really, the entire game.
Yeah.
Pitching was that
Yeah.
good.
And
Let's see
the
if Randall
fielders made
offers
all the
that.
plays and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
See if you can find that.
Live
That's true. 3-1 Cubs, top of 7. The Buccos got 2 guys on, though, with 1 out, making noise. And 3-1 Astros, top of the 5th. So this looks like a very chalky evening, at least right up to now. And the Tigers won 4-1. That was chalk. Boy, oh boy. Did you see how the Giants blew the lead today to the Rockies?
Man, don't get me upset. 7-2 lead. How many times are the Rockies going to rally from 7-2? Edmonds on another power play? Wow.
Yeah.
How many times is Colorado going to rally from 7-2 down to win a game? Man, that really. It's funny. We were joking before the game, before the show, rather. Like, and I tell my guys all the time, we don't bet day midweek games. There's just too many stupid things happen. Too many, the starters don't play, the catchers don't play, the relievers aren't available because it's a getaway day game for the most part. But does that stop me from playing it? No. Even though I say don't play it, don't play it, don't play it. Of course, I gave it out. And every day you get reminded on why the initial notion is don't play these day midweek games. I mean, stupid things happen. 7-2, Colorado, the worst team in the history of baseball. And they're going to rally from 7-2 down and beat, a really good Giants team. That's what happened today.
1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, 3 in the 9th. That's how they ended up getting 8, the Rockies.
Yeah.
So don't play midweek games. Is that Wednesdays or Thursdays for you? Which day is that?
Both. Whatever happens to be a day game.
Okay.
Yeah, because what happens is, you're betting on a team thinking, okay, you're going to get their everyday lineup. But the catchers who played the night before, they're not catching a day game the day after. That never happens. Guys who, take days off as they all do, not like the NBA, but they all do. That's the game they take off. It's like, all right, I'm too tired. I'm, whatever. So, you look at their lineup and you see the catcher is not catching, and that's huge. Not have the regular catcher. 1 or 2 regulars aren't playing. The bullpen guys who pitched last night, well, they could generally pitch 2 days in a row, but I think there's a little hesitancy on pitching at night and then, 12 hours later. So are those guys really available? Probably not. There's a lot of things that are thrown. And then you get the getaway day mentality of, I got to get the fudge out of here. So let's just swing and let's hop on a plane. We got to go all the way across the country. We want to go home. We want to get to our wives and girlfriends, or we got to get to another city. There's just too many. I'm telling you, you look at all these upsets, and it all happens on these midweek games, midweek day games. I don't like them. So,
Cam's coming up next segment. Did you peek at any of the U.S. Open today? Did you watch any of it?
I didn't. I honestly, I didn't. I was doing a podcast and everything. I checked the scores. I was following along, but they started so early, and this guy Spawn, had a 4-under so early in the day. I didn't get a chance to see him. I tell you, I will say this: it's a who of who's not going to make the cut if it stays this way with a whole round left. There's a lot of guys that are on the outside looking in cut line wise.
Yeah, there was a lot of scores that I don't want to say are surprising, but the variance is all over the place. Spawn put up that -4. No one else is there. A couple guys at -3. There's only, I think, 8 guys total under par in the whole tournament. Some other guys put up some big numbers down at the bottom. So I'll be interested to see what Cam says. I think that the course was gettable today, which doesn't loom well for anyone that shot 4 over, 5 over today, because tomorrow's the wind's supposed to pick up, and it's another day of not raining, drying out, and making that rough almost impossible. I mean, that rough is literally that rough where you put your foot in, where you're walking, and you don't see your shoe. It's terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you see the 9th hole, by the way?
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing in the history of sports, I think. They have, yes, they have a practice green, people, that leads into the 9th hole's green. What do you mean? Like 30 yards before the 9th hole is a practice green where guys are practicing. Now they're not doing it during the tournament. So 30 yards leading into the hole, there's nothing but holes because it's a practice green. So if your ball happens to go in one of the holes, you got to pull the ball out and place it on, on the ground and then chip from there. Why? Who would ever design a course with a practice green on one of the holes, let alone a championship course like this? It's the dumbest thing. And then why not fill the holes in, Dave? I mean, it's the U.S. Open, for goodness sake. Take 10 minutes if you're going to have this dopey layout. At least fill the hole. Yeah, plug them in. What are you doing? I don't know. We'll get Cam's thoughts on it all when we come back in Game Live. Game Day.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face, and after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a plus 340 price.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Ready?
Jacob! Yes! Oh! It was never in doubt! It was never in doubt! Oh, there's points falling out of my eyeballs! Oh, James Johnson to the 10! Everybody gets home! The 228.5 matters!
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave keeping an eye on things. Still 3-1 midway through the second period. Florida leading Edmonton. We'll go back to that. Still no hitter with the Milwaukee Brewers and St. Louis Cardinals. We'll keep an eye on that. But you little U.S. Open talk, little golf talk, and then a little hockey talk, no doubt, as well, with our good buddy Cam Stewart, who must say, Cam, kudos to you. And I played it, unfortunately, with FanDuel. They didn't offer that many bets, but you said you were fading Rory McIlroy yesterday. I only saw one that FanDuel, anyway, had here in New York as far as matchups, and I won that bet. And you're right, he finished 4 over par. He's on the outside looking in, cut line, as a lot of big-time names are. But your impressions of the first round U.S. Open today?
Well, my one bet, like so far in the matchups, 3 out of 4, I had Lowry over McIlroy. If you want to talk about one of the biggest surprises today, Shane Lowry chipped in for eagle and still shot a 9 over. Dave, wow. I don't know what the hell is going on with that course. By the way, Dave, I never knew it was such a Polish contingent in the Pennsylvania region. They did a big story on pierogies and all this other stuff. That's like Winnipeg in Canada. That's like the pierogi. I live in Little Poland, in where I am in Mississauga. Like all my neighbors, it's like Filipino and Polish. So it's pierogi city here, and I nothing like a good pierogi. But let me tell you, Scott, this course, this is the easiest day it's going to play, and these guys got murdered. JJ Spawn hit more par putts than Tiger Woods in his prime, like 18-footer drain. Buried in the rough, perfect wedge shot to like a foot. Can it sustain itself? Probably not. We've taken them a lot this year, but here's the deal. Now we're talking, what do we do with this tournament? 3 over is T49. Who's there? DeChambeau, the second favorite, and Scottie Scheffler, the first favorite. Scheffler 7-1. You want to take them? You take them now. You're probably not going to get a better price. It's one of those situations. And if you really think about it, 7 shots in that course is nothing. I literally believe you could make up a 7-shot swing in 3 or 4 holes because somebody's going to double bogey. Think about it, Dave. Patrick Reed had an albatross today. He shot a 2 on a par 5, and then he took a quad like at the end of the round. He went from even to like +4. Like things in this course change rapidly. So guys, I'm telling you, if you don't even like golf, but you love betting, live betting in this tournament is off the chain because this thing is going to fluctuate like the stock market, and it's going to get harder too. Dave, you talked about it. If they don't get any rain, things are going to get baked out. That rough's going to grow. Like this is the easiest day, and Spawn had like the round of his life. But think about these guys, like 3 over par, Scheffler, DeChambeau, Lowry 9 over par. Rory was there for a while. He was so lucky, and then the wheels fell off him too. Like, right? What is he? 3 or 4 over? He's 4 over.
4.
So that's
over,
the thing. I have Rahm in a matchup versus him. And actually, let's give the live guys credit. John Rahm, one of the favorites in the tournament, played great. He was actually, and the biggest story of the day, other than probably Lowry shooting 9 over, was Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka is on page 1 of the leaderboard. So take a look at the live guys. There's like live. And I told, me and Morency talked about it last night. Scott, and no one talks about this. These PGA guys, it's like baseball. Dave, you know baseball. Scott, you know baseball. You get tired after a while. Day after day after day, tournament after tournament. These live guys play 3 rounds and they get weeks off. They're living like kings. Yeah. So you know what I mean? So they're freshened for a tournament that takes all your mental for. Like these guys, I looked at guys at the end of the round. They look like they got beat up by Mike Tyson in his prime. They were like, their faces were all different and sweating and beat up. Hey, Oilers just scored, by the way. It's 3-2.
Whoa. Whoa.
I'm going to tell you something. If the Oilers lose this game by like 1 goal after that first period, like if Andrew Kane, if I'm the coach, he's never getting on the ice again. Like that guy, that's why me and Gabe talk about it. That's why he's on so many different teams. God, that guy takes dumb penalties. The Oilers just like 3-0 in the first period because of you're acting like morons and taking stupid penalties. The refs also missed a high stick against the Oilers, but let's give these guys credit. I was just on the phone with my buddy Pizzola, Dave, and I called them gutless. Nice. Pizzola's like, he's like, hey, I'm watching the Oiler game at your local. I go, yeah, the beers are cheap. I call him and go, this team's more gutless than the Leafs. Next thing you know, bang, bang, they score 2 goals. So I'll just keep on ripping them, and maybe they'll come back. So, guys, if you like the Oilers now, what are we going to do with this game? They got a little bit of momentum. They're +1.5, -148. I'll endorse it. +220. Why not? I'm going down with the ship, guys. I told you I was on the Pacers last night. We made a boatload and we put it back into this game. But we got a hockey game all of a sudden, guys. And how do you bet an under in this series? You can't. Every game's going over. This first period over, like I always look away like, When's it going to be under? But no, just don't do it. Like, just take the over every time, because right now these offenses are just too good, guys.
Way too good. You mentioned the NBA. You saw it last night.
I like
right?
the Pacers.
Win. Game 4 is tomorrow. You like the Pacers tomorrow too?
Damn right I do. I'm taking them. Here's the deal. People are going to come back. How does Oklahoma City lose another game? Well, it's called gambling, people. The Pacers bench destroyed Oklahoma City's bench. Ben Mathurin alone had 27 points. Dave, Scott, the Pacers are no joke. Like, they have guys on this team that are tough as hell. And if SGA and these other guys on Oklahoma City, their top scorers, their bench is brutal. Like, they're getting totally outplayed. Like, guys, I'm starting to think Indiana might win the series. Like, you know what I mean? We won our series bet at +2.5. Like, I wouldn't count Oklahoma City out. Obviously, they're still favored, but take a look at the lines. Like, you guys, from what you've seen, if Indiana can win one more game at home, they go up 3-1, this thing is going to be absolutely nuts. But let's give the Pacers credit. Everybody and their mother thought Oklahoma City would sweep them or win in 5.
Yep.
Edmonton on the power play again.
Ooh.
Down 3-2. Wow.
Scott,
this thing is unraveling.
I'm losing my mind. Oh, no. Just, it almost went in. If these guys come back and win,
you got to play Edmonton right now, right? +285.
I already did.
They're buzzing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Scott, I took the 1.5 too, guys. If you like the Oilers, like, these guys are back in the game. If they get the next goal, I got to tell you, man, what a hockey. This Stanley Cup playoffs, like, it's been great, but that one period could come back and haunt these guys. So would you, Dave, if you're going to get Scheffler at 7-1, are you biting? Are you biting? 7 shots back.
It's in the conversation.
You're not going to get a better number, though. That's the whole thing. Like, people go 7.
I know.
Don't look at it like that. It's not like, you can't think about it as 7 strokes. You think of it as we got 3 rounds of golf left at a tournament where there's going to be major carnage. Guys are going to be shooting 80s on the weekend. So, you know, if you like Scotty Scheffler, take him at 7-1. It's a great price.
Yeah,
it's
because if it goes any higher, that means he's that far away. So, Tim, thanks for job, man.
Have a great night, guys.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent a message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Does a guy like Giannis fit onto that roster if you can make some of those changes?
I just don't see a KD pursuit as being realistic for the Knicks. But hey, if they can pull a rabbit out of a hat, as Leon Rose oftentimes can, I'd go after Giannis in a heartbeat. It's just, you know, what type of package could they entice for the Milwaukee Bucks? And is it a 3 or 4 team trade? It gets a little bit tricky in that regard.
You see the Knicks there with a +340 price.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you can't really, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Freddie, Jacob! Yes! Oh! It was never in doubt! It was never in doubt! Oh, there's points falling out of my eyeballs! Oh, James Johnson to the 10! Everybody gets home! The 228.5 matters!
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Again, thanks to Cam Stewart, who takes over along with Gabe Morency for the next two right here on SportsGrid TV, SportsGrid Radio as well. So 3-2 with Edmonton trailing now, but at least it's a heck of a lot better than 3-1. And I must say, I do like the way they're playing. Oh, now it's locked. We'll see what happens, whether that's a goal or more than likely a power play. But and our boy is up to, we're definitely our Black Cloud play of the day. We gave it out early with the Bobrovsky 26.5 saves over. He is up to 18. That's, and we still got 5 minutes left to go in the second period here, Dave. So we can get him to 20, I'll get greedy and say 21, 3 more, the way Edmonton's playing right now. That's looking more than just okay. That's looking, oh my goodness. Florida, what are you doing? Wow. Over Wow. 3-3.
We are tied.
Over 6.5 hits.
Unbelievable. I mean, this is hockey. This is this Stanley Cup. This is what it's going to be remembered for.
Yep.
The comebacks, the leads, the scoring. I mean, I really thought the game tonight was going to go under. I thought we had it early, get a lead, and then nope. So huge goal there for Edmonton. Blocker side low. Probably should have had that one, Bob. We ain't got to worry about Bob winning the Conn Smythe with 3 goals tonight. That ain't
That's
happening.
true.
So
that's
out.
true, right?
Throw him out.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
There's no way.
So
he's not having that good of a series.
Right.
So that's really
And
nice for our Bennett and Marchand. But
right. Yep. The goalie change worked. Edmonton rally 3-3 now. Is he the goalie the rest of the series now? That's it, right?
Yeah. Skinner's done. That's,
No matter
unless
what
something,
happens
barring
tonight,
an
he
injury,
starts Game 5, right?
it's got to, has to, yeah. Even though he hasn't really faced that many shots in the second period, but what's the difference? You there's no way you can go back to Skinner. If it's Grant Fuhr, yeah, maybe you look the other way, but not Stuart Skinner, right? And this dude's 6-0 in this postseason with the goals against under. He's got 3 shutouts for goodness sakes, or 2. But goals against under 2, it's got to be. So Vasily, I pronounce it Podkolzin. Podkolzin. No McDavid, no Draisaitl. Vasily Podolkin, whatever, is your goal scorer for the Edmonton Oilers.
Podkolzin.
3-3.
Podkolzin.
Okay.
Yep. Podkolzin. Yep. Wow.
20 saves for the Bob. 20. We're going to get that. We're going to hit the black cloud. I don't want to jinx it. 26.5. 7 more saves. I'd be surprised if he didn't get 7 more the rest of the way.
16
That's a nice
shots to 6 in the second period. 16 to 6. Completely flipped the script, Edmonton did. This is super impressive. I thought Edmonton was toast. In tonight, called the game wrap. 3-0.
Yep.
I mean, how do you blow a 3-goal lead in one period? 2 power play goal, 1 power play goal, actually, and then 2 regular 5-on-5s. I don't know. Now what? I mean, the in-game number is pick 'em. It's -110, both sides here. What do you do?
Wow.
I don't know who's winning this game.
Yeah, I told you to grab Edmonton plus the 285 when they made it 3-2.
Sure you
right?
did.
I mean,
yeah,
you had to. The way they were buzzing, you could just see it. So over under now is 8.5. Another over hits, right? It's going to be at least 4-3. I tell you, we might hit both of these Florida and Edmonton 25 goals or more. I mean, that's the way this series is going. I mean, this has got, we get to 5-5, overtime 6-5. I mean, we're
wow.
And the series, if you get Edmonton to win, if you really have that bet, which you should, then you got to be rooting for Edmonton, right? That would guarantee at least 6 games.
Yeah.
So, I'll even take a 5-4 game. You're looking pretty good with those 8.5 bets. I like those.
For sure.
Solid. Pedro's going to regret having those. So, all right, who's winning? You tell me before we go.
I'm sticking with Florida, although I don't like it right now. I feel like I'm on the wrong side. But
yeah, me too.
I mean, you just
Me
can't,
too.
I feel like they're rolling over the blue line and stuff. This is bad.
Crazy. We got to get to the second intermission, definitely. Gabe, great job as always. Damn and Gabe coming up next.